Check 1 2 1 2. Cheer. Hello. Welcome to episode. What episode is this? Episode 5 of TIMS Tuesday. I'm the host, Houston God. Got a very special guest going to be joining us today. Happy Valentine's Day. This is a special episode. It lands on Valentine's Day this year. It's pretty exciting. I figured the guest should be suiting for the day. I'm going to be calling this episode Self-Love TIMS Tuesday. You know, we're going to give it a few minutes. Let some people get in here. Let our guests get in here, get situated, get comfortable. Hey. Did I see Mr. Cheese in here? I see Gorgeous Goddess in here. What up? Can y'all hear me good? Everybody hear me good? Mic is low or music is too loud. Okay, I'll turn it up a little bit. I'm also like talking low. It's really not going on. Y'all turn it down later. Music is loud, like too loud, or it's just louder than me. I'll turn it down. So I like having a few minutes to like get the levels right, get all that out the way. Still hear good? Cool. I think it should be good now. Let me know if it's better. Now I might just have to turn my headphones down. Okay. Start that from the top there. Or is it better here? I like that part. All right, we're going to give it a few more minutes, maybe 2 more minutes, and then we're going to bring up our guest. Like I said, this is episode 5 of TIMS Tuesday. I got a very special guest, and I think the guest is very suiting for the day. Today is Valentine's Day. It is February 14th, which lucky for us landed on a Tuesday, so we could do this episode. I'm coining this episode as our self-love episode. I think the content that this creator puts out, the programming that she has lined up, is very suiting for that topic. So we're going to definitely talk a little bit about self-love today. We're going to talk about health and beauty and all of that. So I'm pretty excited about today's topic and today's guest. So happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. If you're single and enjoying it alone, or if you have a significant other and you're enjoying it together, shout out to you. Either way, I hope you are putting yourself first and making sure that you're showing yourself love. That's always the most important. I see Jesse in here. What up, Jesse? And another thing, I think I kind of get right into this sometimes, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows I do see the comments. I tend not to read them during the live. I save it towards the end. So I'm not ignoring you guys. Feel free to, interact with each other. But once the guest comes in, I focus all my attention on the guest because they are taking their time to be with us and, be a guest on TIMS Tuesday. So I definitely give my full attention directly to the guest. So feel free to interact in the comments. And then at the end or towards the end, I'll make sure that I, check in on the comments. So I'm going to bring in our guest. Like I said, today we are tapping into self-love. It is Valentine's Day, and this guest is very suiting for that topic. So without further ado, let me bring in that guest. All right, there we go. Invite sent. Today's guest stepping into the room, into the box. We could go ahead and turn this down and cut that off. Janine is in the building. What up, Janine? I had to make sure I had it ready for you today. What up? Oh, I wasn't sure if you was going to break that out today. That one always gets
Going
me.
on?
What's going on? How you feeling?
Good.
Feeling good? Feeling good? That's what I like to hear. Are you waving to the fans in the comments?
Finger fingers.
I,
I
I
hope I'm
was
doing
I
it
was
right.
actually expecting to see the gold glittery background
Oh, really?
that we see during like makeup Mondays or like when you're doing your makeup. So I'm like, oh, got something different going on today. I like it.
Yeah, I figured
Love
I
it.
was like, I'll give somebody a little tour of
Oh, look
what
at
I
that.
look at when I do my makeup.
Oh, so this is what you normally see?
Yes. And
Oh,
then I
okay.
have like a little message up here. It says, "Be the light,"
Be the light. That is dope.
that I
This is
did.
a great
Yeah,
way to.
it's
I
not
wasn't
finished yet.
expecting this.
It
I wasn't
it's a work
expecting
in
this.
progress.
I
We're
love
still
it.
not there yet.
Okay. Well, you already know. You saw from the beginning of Tim's to where we are now. Like I started, with just the plain wall and at first, and it's progress. You know what
It's
I
a
mean?
work in progress. It
There it
really
is.
is.
A work in progress. I love it. So, all right. So, I mean, we're gonna start right with the message there. I mean, if we could talk a little bit about be the light. What does that, I guess, mean to you? What does be the light mean?
So basically, shine bright like a freaking diamond.
Okay.
That's
You don't have
that's
to censor
exactly what
yourself.
it is.
Feel free not to censor yourself.
I'm
Be
like,
the
I will beep
authentic
beep.
Janine that we know. What's up, Bobby? Yeah.
Right.
So be your authentic self. So be the light means to shine bright like a diamond, an effing diamond.
Right.
I love
Yes.
that. I love that. We in my family our we've adopted the symbol of a diamond as our kind of like family symbol. We all I don't know if you know this, but me, my sister, both of my sisters, and my mother all have a tattoo of a diamond. We all
Oh,
have it in
that's
different places.
cool.
But our
That's
thing with the diamond is a diamond is forever, and so is family. So that's our
mm-hmm.
like little
That's
thing.
so cute. I
Thanks.
love that. I love that for you
I love
guys.
I love that for you. I
Now I'm gonna
appreciate
tell
that.
Serena she better show it to me.
Where's Serena's is on? Yeah, Serena could show you where hers is. So yeah, mine is
Yeah,
right
she can
here.
show me.
Mine is right here on my wrist. So yeah,
Oh,
we all got it on the same day. It was pretty cool. It was a nice little family bonding moment. So that's
that's
cool.
so cute.
All right, so I mainly wanted to jump into. I saw
Oh,
the caption or quote kind of not threw me off, but it's kind of like perfect for the topic of the day. Um, and obviously, again, it's Valentine's Day. We're talking about self love. I wanted to kind of coin this episode as like a self love episode. I think it's very suiting, especially for the content that you create. How important is self love for Janine?
for me, it's now in my life, it's number one priority because if you're not happy, how can you be happy for other people?
Mm,
So caring about yourself is should always be number one for everybody. But for me, it's important because I kind of actually lost my way a little bit a couple years ago. And when I did, I stopped doing makeup. I stopped working out. It made me stop all the things that I was actually into.
mm,
And I kind of lost all of that. So when I started to get back into makeup, because I've been doing makeup for such a long time, I realized that even though I put on the makeup and I don't go out in it, it makes me feel good.
yes.
So, I mean, that's why I continued doing the makeup. And I was like, I've been on Instagram, I've been on YouTube, I've been on everything. And honestly, TikTok, there's good people, but there's a lot of, I mean, there's bad people, but there's a lot of more good people than there is
Right.
bad
Yeah.
people. And it kind of made me so happy to see that whatever I was doing was making them happy, making them want to go and do those things. And to be honest, like, I just wanted to feel like a girl again
Yeah. And I think I
because I
get
was missing that.
and I always talk about like one of the first like videos that I watched of you were like you were doing your makeup, and I don't know, I was like almost like what is going on here? Like, oh, this is what goes into it. Like I was like, and I think I stood originally. I think we talked about like it was the music at first. Like you had like a mix going. I'm like, yo, the music's fire, but then I'm like, oh man, this is detailed and like, but I'm watching the comments at the same time, and it's kind of you're right. Like people somewhat inspired somehow, and I don't mean somehow because like for a guy, obviously we don't put on makeup every day or certain things that we
Right.
don't we don't do that women do, but we don't realize how you just said. putting on makeup is not necessarily for other people. And while
Mm-hmm.
people do think that, right? Like sometimes we'll, like as guys, we're like, you don't need that. Like you look pretty without it. And
Right.
realistically, it's like, yeah, I'm not doing it for you. Like, is that any involved in any which way of how you were saying like you kind of lost yourself for a while? Like, was that rooted in
Yeah,
any of
because
that?
like here's the thing, like a lot of it stemmed from being lazy.
Mm,
So as I got older, I did have a little ups and downs, and that kind of triggered it. It was majority of what triggered out. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but we can talk about it. And then it kind of stemmed from there where I lost myself because I used to every day do the makeup and do my hair and look good because honestly, it wasn't for anybody, it was for me.
mm,
Because I realized I was more happy when I had my makeup on or I had my hair did and I looked nice and I dressed nice. And, when I go out in sweats and a hat, I'm like, you kind of feel bummy. So
right.
it stems from making myself feel good. So when I don't look good, I feel down,
Yeah.
if you
I
get what I'm saying.
I could relate because I mean I could contribute it to or like the closest things for me would be in sports, right? So
Mm-hmm.
growing up I played baseball and I played football, and I was the guy that like I wanted the sleeves, I wanted all the like things that made me feel good. Like I'm gonna play my hardest if I have this on, and I coach now as well, so I see that in kids that like when they come and they feel good, they're gonna play their hardest when they feel good. So it's kind of like similar where if you're putting on the makeup, it makes you feel good. If you feel good, you do good. So it's kind of similar that you have to get back into the swing of it though. Like it's kind of like if I'm gonna get on the field, like do I throw it all on or is it just practice or am I really putting in the work? So I'm assuming it's a similar, feeling for
And
you when
then,
you're putting in the work.
yeah, also what it is that when you do step out like that, you receive more comments and you receive
Your self
what you're
esteem is
portraying yourself as.
right.
So it's also another boost. And I think that's what brings up my confidence even more. The fact that someone's putting the effort to say, wow, you look good today.
Mm,
Like today, they're saying today because every other day I look different. So right there just gives me the sign that I'm like, okay, this is making me feel good. I need to do this more often.
which I think that's something that people kind of overlook. Like when somebody gives you a compliment, like you just said, oh, you look pretty today, let's say, or for guys, oh, you look handsome. Like when you
Right.
got a fresh haircut and things like that, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, what do I look like regularly?
Right.
Um, well, the truth is, it's not that you look bad. It's just that today you look like you're putting in the effort, and when you put in the effort, you
You
get
get
those
that.
compliments, and you get your self esteem is kind of like
It's
boosted.
kind of like you brained your face
Yeah,
because you feel good what you're wearing, how you look. So people are not seeing you put makeup on and getting your hair done. They're seeing this other person that
right.
you're portraying yourself as. Like there's a saying where it's like on this show Euphoria, and Maddie, I think that's her name on the show, and she's talking about like life is majority confidence, and 90% of the time people are faking it, and it doesn't mean that you don't have that confidence, but you're in a crappy situation, you get dolled up, you look good, you go out and you have this confidence on yourself even though you have so much stuff going on.
Mm.
That's what I mean by faking it, if you get what I'm
Right.
saying. Like
No,
it's
I,
with
I, I agree 100%. I think also that, like for me, right, I get a fresh outfit, I get a
mhm
fresh cut, like I'm all shaped up or whatever. My walk is gonna be different. Like I walk differently,
mhm
like I walk with a certain, I gotta walk in what I'm portraying, right? Like the outfit matches the walk sort of. And I just have like, and I guess for me, this is one of the things that I don't leave the house, for instance, in slides. Like that's kind of like a rule for me. Um, that just kind of pushes me to one. I'm gonna have to wear a certain type of outfit. Like I'm gonna have to dress a certain way. I think it's also been instilled in me since a very young age about you never know who you're gonna meet, right? So I'm always like in my mind, like I gotta put my best foot forward, or at least put on the appearance that this is my best, best look or best foot forward. Um,
right.
so I know that there had to be a turning point because you were saying that you struggled with it for a while. Like, what was the point when you kind of were like, I need to get out of this slump, or I need to get back to what makes me happy? Like, was there a defining moment that
uh
You
Yeah,
remember?
it actually turned into a condition which is called dysmorphia. So I actually started to hate the body that I was in.
Mm.
And it put me in a depressed state where every other day or every week or so I was crying because I didn't want to be in this body, if you
Wow.
get what I'm saying.
No,
And in this mind and in
I
this,
get
it's
it.
called body dysmorphia.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about that until so a few years ago I was with a trainer, right? And I'm working out like I'm going crazy. I'm talking about like I'm eating good. I'm feeling like I'm in the best shape of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And the people around me are like, "Yo, you good?" Like people are asking me if I'm like on like sick or something like, and I'm like, "Yo, what are you talking about? I feel amazing." Like, but I was losing weight because I was so committed to it, right? And then I had like some of my guy friends are like, "Yo, now all you got to do is bulk up," and I was like, but that's not what I'm trying to do. Like, this is the look that I'm going for, sort of, or like this
Right.
is what I'm trying to do. And I think the voices inside my head started to become their opinions, right? So like what they were saying and things like that. Now I'm like, man, maybe I don't like, maybe I don't look like good. Maybe I thought I was looking good, like, and now I started to have a different look at my like a different outlook of myself. And I don't know if this happened or this is part of that process of I would go shopping and I started buying the sizes of clothes that I wore before I lost weight. Or like I'm like, no, I'm sure this will fit, and then I get it home and it's like baggy, and then I
Right.
feel like uncomfortable in my like in the clothes, and I kind of started to feel like, you know what, maybe this workout stuff really isn't for me, like, and just kind of got away from it, and didn't make it like the forefront. Now for me, it's more about like eating good and like being active, but not in the same way that it was then. So
Right.
I definitely could relate
I'm
to
into
that.
that.
What are some of the I guess for people who don't know possibly that they're even dealing with or struggling with the same thing, what are some of the things that I guess like symptoms or like things that you were dealing with when you realized that you were dealing with that?
There were a couple. For one, anything I put on, I looked ugly in. Or not that I looked ugly in, I felt ugly in.
Mm,
That I constantly kept changing my outfits. Another thing I realized, the more and more I started covering up my body. So majority of my clothes now are very like conservative in a way, very covered and content. So I actually went through a phase where I always wore a cardigan because a cardigan basically just covers the whole figure of a woman's body, the shape, the anything that stands out. So I realized basically from how my body, what my wardrobe was before, and then actually dealing with it and then realizing how much has changed. Because now I put on my clothes, a majority of the stuff now is baggy since I've lost weight, and I don't feel pretty in it because it's not showing my personality of what I was before. I used to wear a lot of sheer, a lot of satin, like see through things. And not that it was like very bad, but I can see the difference in what I was wearing before till today and when I was going through that. Another thing is, even if I did try my best to look good and feel good, I still never did.
mm.
So it was all mental as well. And it wasn't just my body, it was all up in here. So I kept trying to make it
You
better.
kind of you kind of said something though that stands out to me about how it was like kind of affecting your personality. Like
Hmm.
your your behavior must have been different too at that time, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
just again I'm thinking about myself and like even other people that I know who struggle with different things, like maybe not necessarily this, but when we're going through certain things, our personality is kind of either diminished or just a totally different person comes out, like a totally different variation of
Right.
us, like a whole nother, maybe like we stop doing certain things. One, like you mentioned, you start doing certain things that you like, but I think we also start doing certain things like sometimes it's maybe being more aggressive
Hmm.
or passive, just letting things go like that you normally wouldn't let go. um I don't know, things like that. Like, were there anything now looking back that you'd be like, oh my god, like I can't believe I let that happen or I was doing that? Like, is there anything that stands out to you?
My attitude, for one. That was definitely a big factor. Um, every time someone talked to me, I felt like I was in attack mode. So I always reciprocated back in a more aggressive way instead of talking. And now it's even harder because people are always expecting that from me. So when I do open my mouth and I try to talk it out in a more agreeing way, um, they're not satisfied. So it's kind of actually harder for me. I feel like I have to work extra hard now because people were so used to me always jumping the gun instead of just, you know, trying to
So,
chill back
so
and relax.
if you don't mind, like how long did that period of your life like take place? Like, how many years or like what was that time frame?
About 3 to 4 years.
Okay. And now, how far along are you past that time frame? Like, where are we at now? Like, since you kind of started
So
shifting.
basically, I started this journey in August, September. So at the end of August, beginning of September of 2022.
Okay.
So
So
this is still
you're gonna
new.
be, yes, it's still, yeah. So you're kind of
Hmm. Still
still
learning.
finding some, yeah, finding out some of the things that are different for you now, or even looking back at like, oh my goodness, like I did that. Now, do you have the other challenge, right? The other challenge is having people around you that are able to see the difference. Like you mentioned, some like, oh, they're expecting a certain version of you, and then when they don't get that, they almost they're still holding you to that person. Like they can't let go of that. What is that
Um,
challenge like for you? Like having that.
for me right now, it's, and I've mentioned this to everybody, and it's the majority of the people I don't even have to mention it. So I have taken back time for myself, and it has no disrespect to anybody, and I hope everyone feels that way, whoever's watching. But I have taken time for myself. So basically, I if I can't be happy, then I can't be with someone and be happy with them.
Mm,
Then that would just be fake. So I feel like I need to secure myself, secure the bag within me. And in order for me to do that, I need to focus on myself. So what's so crazy, thanks.
that was dope.
What's so crazy is that what people don't understand is for me, I'm the type of person where I'm such a big giver. So, and no matter what situation you put me in, I won't put myself first. I will put the person next to me, the person next to that person. I will put everybody else first before me. So that's why I feel like that's where I struggle with. So I had to take myself out of that situation. So basically, spending more time alone, spending more time with my husband, or spending more time at home, spending more time away from where that originally stemmed from.
Right.
Growing up in because my family were all girls. I didn't want to have any brothers, so that stemmed from my mom having five girls, and everybody had a different personality, different body type. So it was like a thing where you had to, not
You're
like a
just
thing,
constantly
but like,
surrounded by it. Like you can't really escape that
right. So
environment. That's
if
sort
like
of like
one of them would look good and I was like more comfortable, it was noticeable, if you
okay.
get what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, and
Which
that's
is very
anywhere.
different for me because I grew up with two older sisters and I don't have any brothers. So for me, like there was, although I grew up competitive. One, just in general, like that's my nature is to be
Hmm.
competitive. But the competition for me was more of like a once I got to a certain age, it was like the physical aspect of it went away. So there's really no competition there. Like what there was for me, I didn't have to like there was nothing really that we needed to compete with now. I mean, at the time, now there's things that we compete with as adults, but that's very different, you know, that version like of what you were growing up around, I guess. That's a its own
Yeah,
challenges basically.
basically. And then, us actually like growing up and making friends, and, there are people in the world that are envious and are jealous, and it's natural. It's a natural feeling to be jealous of someone or to be envious of someone. I mean, I can't hold that against anybody, but, you know, people do, and people hate. And that's like one of the harder parts for me, is that it's so crazy that they can hate on me, but little do they know what's actually going inside my head, where
Right.
I think that I'm ugly, or I'm not up to par with them. So it the world goes around. It's
Yeah, and
insane.
that's funny because that's like a lot of what people will talk when you say like we'll see this is kind of like a common thing. Like you'll see somebody that has something that you want and you don't
Hmm.
understand what they're struggling to do to have that.
Right.
which might be something that you would never be willing to do, nor do you want those struggles that come along with that, right? Like I've personally been there before, seeing certain people have certain things and being like, man, I really want that, but I don't know if I'm really ready to do all that they're doing. And then especially if you get close enough to that person and find out all the stuff that they're doing, all the work that goes into it, all the headaches that they have, and they'll tell you like, if I could, I wouldn't even do this. Like I would change careers or switch jobs or whatever it is. And even though they know that they would lose the lifestyle, there's times that they wish that they never went down that road or whatever it is. So that's a tough thing to struggle with having to watch in a sense, or in your case you're talking about outsiders looking in on you, not knowing
Mm-hmm.
that you're kind of dealing with that. And I think that's again perfectly suiting for this series. Is the whole point is for us to share our stories and let people kind of know one what we're going through, but also let them know that they're not the only ones going through what they're going through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely correlate to that. So I think where your story kind of is at so far is kind of going to one of my questions about, you have multiple series that you do here on TikTok.
Yeah.
You have Makeup Monday, you have Flawless Friday, and
Mm-hmm.
is it this Sunday? I think I'm right that this Sunday you're starting Skincare Sunday. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So it's definitely in line with the topic of today, which is self love and self
Mm-hmm.
care. So, what made you want to take what you were doing to uplift yourself and get out of the rut that you were in and bring it to TikTok and kind of share it with the people of TikTok?
Right. So actually, what's so crazy is that when I first started TikTok, I had two pages. I had dedicated a page just for makeup, and I had dedicated a page where it was more personal, where I did like different like sounds and stuff like that. So I was posting on my makeup page. It was doing good, but not as what I expected it. So I continued to post more on my personal page where there was like more trends and things like that. So what I
Oh,
was
is that what you
going
mean by
through,
sounds? Like the trending sounds
the
or whatever of
trending
TikTok? Okay,
sounds,
okay,
right? Yeah.
got you.
And so I went on my personal page and I did a current trend, sound trend, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, there's so many people doing it, and I can relate to it. So I took that as a as an advantage, and I posted something, and I had my friends over, and I had put my phone down just for maybe an hour, I would say, and I went back and it was flooding with comments and likes, and I was so overwhelmed. They're probably even in this chat right now. We're sitting at my house and I'm like, guys, like it I literally just posted it. I think it wasn't even an hour. I think it was 20 minutes in, and I had over 7,000 views on it so far, and comments were just flowing in, and
Do you remember
likes.
what it was? Like what the video was?
Yeah, I actually have it pinned on my page. It was Google Dolls trending sound that was like very popular, and it was basically you were showing a photo of yourself now and then showing a photo of what you were prior, so
Okay,
basically
like kind of like
stating
a before and
like
after.
someone quoting you. So basically my video was, wow, she gained so much weight, right? And then it would be a past photo of myself stating, I know, like you don't have to keep saying it,
Oh,
right?
okay,
So
I got you.
I did that trend, and then it blew up, and then the next day I had
Wait,
100K
is that
views.
the one? I think I've seen it. Is this the video that you're in a white dress in one of them? You're like dancing or
Yes.
something?
And I'm
Okay, okay, I know
dancing,
what you're talking about.
right? Yeah.
Okay.
So what's so crazy is that that day someone had came up to my mom and stated if I was pregnant, which was kind of
Mm.
sad cuz that's my bridal shower and you're asking my mom if I'm pregnant. Like, so in my eyes I'm like it's kind of disrespectful in a way, because where that stems from for me, the bloating, the stomach bulging out, because those are side effects to what I'm going through.
Right.
So it actually hits harder for me because they don't know what I know. But how does that give you the right to state, oh well, is she pregnant? Or and then they go to my mom like, oh, she
Yeah,
gained weight, and then they'll
it's
say it in Arabic like you got fat. Like it's like
I mean, that's common
Uh,
in I could relate because in Latino households is families is like that too. Where you're like, okay, that's rude, one,
right.
inappropriate, like and
Hmm.
it's kind of like, oh, we're just supposed to accept it and take that as it is what it is, cultural or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's not, and it's not cool. It's not in any way, shape, or form something that people should be comfortable even doing, yet they do it.
Right.
So yeah, I could relate.
And I
I know
think
all about it.
it stemmed from my dysmorphia getting worse over time because it was happening so much. Because it was a drastic change. I was a fit girl going to the gym twice a day for 2 years. I used to leg press like 700 pounds. I used to squat 250 pounds. It's like, so basically, from what they saw me at and then what I became, it was more harder because I think when I was finally diagnosed with everything I was going through, it kind of hit me. And then plus I was working a lot. So that also comes up when you get older, you tend to work harder in your career. And at that current time, I was doing 9 to 9 back
Mm,
to back at work. So I kind of lost
sheesh.
myself into work, lost having to take time off from work to do the things for me, right? So it's
Right.
like, and that's where I always tell people, like, never forget about you. Like, who cares about working that extra 4 hours to get overtime? Like, if that takes away from time to make you happy so you can continue to go to work, then don't do it. It's not worth it. Money comes and goes. Um, you don't. We're
Mm.
getting older, so I mean, our time is not given
I
back to
think
us.
that's what I was about to say. The time part of it is the
Hmm.
most like I say that all the time on calls or like even on the live. Like I think it's one of the things. Obviously, we can't get it back. So I feel like, and now I'm thinking about what you were just saying, sort of about how you have you were going to the gym 2 times like through for like 2 years, right? Like
Hmm.
that story I was talking about before was very similar. Like the schedule that I had for work allowed me to go in a little bit later. So that I would go to the gym before work, and then I would go to the gym after work because that was when I was with the trainer.
Right.
So I was like in the same boat, but mentally I think is what burned out. Like doing this and you're consistent, you're with this regimen, and then you see like other people are not doing that and they look happy, or like they're having fun, or like their time is spent doing something else. And while I enjoyed it, I also started to realize that in a way I'm not doing this for me. There were times that I realized that I'm going to the gym and I'm doing all these things to look a certain way, and that look, what I was talking about before, was not necessarily for me. It was more so because people said, or there was like a certain thing associated with what looks healthy or whatever. So that was more what I was trying to capture or trying to portray, sort of. So is there any part of you that feels like you burned out after a while of living or doing certain things at that time?
Definitely. Actually, I think a couple months into it, I started actually looking it up, and I ended up quitting my job after that,
Mm,
and I went without a job for a year. And everyone kept asking me like, what's the matter? And I just kept telling everybody I'm burnt out, and people just didn't understand. And I would tell them like, just look it up. Like, it's that simple. Like, I don't need to sit here and explain to you why or how that happened, but i
right.
i basically am. And I think not only that, I think the side effects that what I was going through, and if you want to talk about it, we can, triggered it,
I
and
need to talk
it
about it
made
because
it
this is
harder.
this is this is like, a lot of people are gonna come to your page. They're gonna see the stuff that you do, and not realize that you weren't always like this. Like the ability to come on here, get fly and have fun and have the
Right.
music playing in the background, do the battles and do all of this on live. It wasn't always like that. And I think some people have to realize if they're in that moment and they're in that place that you were in once upon a time, there is a brighter, day ahead. So yeah,
Right.
let's if we could dive into some of that. Like I don't want to trigger anything either, but at the same time, if you feel like it's part of the story that people need to hear or it could help someone, by all means, like let's talk
Right.
about it.
It's crazy because I didn't know what it was, at the time. So I had gone to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Oh, we ran some tests, and he asked me a couple questions, and then he finally diagnosed me with polycystic ovarian syndrome." So basically, what that states is that you have many cysts in your ovaries.
Okay.
So there's different stages to it. So basically, my triggers were growing hair in areas that normally women wouldn't grow. Testosterone levels were higher than normal. My estrogen level was lower. The gaining weight was also another symptom. The fatigue, being tired, being lazy, that also stemmed from that. And then,
I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're
so
good.
the stuff that you were saying physically before, they actually found that there was additional. So although it was affecting your mental health in a sense, there was actual physical things enabling you
Yeah,
basically from being able to do certain things. Like it basically was stopping that
right.
process.
And then, yeah, I would grow cysts in different areas of my body, which made it kind of more difficult for me to walk. And that came from gaining the weight. So the more weight I gained, the worse it got. Um, I'm just trying to think if there was anything. So another thing, women, they get their daily, monthly things. For me, it would be worse. The pain level would be 10 times worse. And it just kept it didn't get better.
Right.
So I did go on medication, but I'm very the type of person that doesn't like to take medicine. So as much as the doctor gives it to me, I try not to go that way. So I try the natural way. And there's been so many things that I tried. And for me, going to the gym and trying to lose the weight is actually harder for me. So I have to work extra hard because my insulin resistance is different than normal people. So
Right,
basically,
because that's throwing off the balance of everything in your body basically is thrown off because of that. Like,
right. So, and then it turned into binge eating. So basically, I would eat and my sugar level will go really high and then it would drop. And then I'd be like, my blood pressure would drop. And then I'd be like, oh my God, I think I need a piece of chocolate. So then I would eat a piece of chocolate. And then after I would eat it, I would regulate and then I would feel hungry. And that's where the binge eating
oh
started.
man.
And
So I know that I used to do like fitness and like health coaching, and I
mhm,
know that one of the things that we always talked about is like you have to listen to your body, and like your body will tell you, when sometimes we misread it, right? Like if we're in tune with our body and we pay attention to our body's going to tell us when we're hungry, when we're thirsty, when we crave certain things. Like when you crave, let's say, like, oh, I want something savory, that it's actually a
mhm,
lack of something specific in your body, and I'm craving something sweet, you just think it's a craving, but those things are actually your body telling you you're in lack of something. So I think it's just good to point out that, for people watching or going to watch in the future, that if you're starting to see that your body is changing and you're craving things that you normally wouldn't, or you're more hungry, or your appetites, these are all indicators of things that could be wrong, or issues that could be starting to form within your body, that you
mhm,
really should be listening to your body and just being mindful of whatever those things are. And sometimes, yeah, maybe you should go, get it checked out. For a while I was dealing with like a lack of appetite, where my girlfriend at the time, like, she would cook dinner and everything, and I'm super hungry, and then as soon as we sit down to eat, I would lose my appetite. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm actually not gonna eat. And it would be, no explanation for it. Like I really
mhm,
couldn't figure it out. And for me, it actually, they did a bunch of blood tests. They did all these things with me. And it turns out that at the time I was just stressed because of work. Like I was working a lot. There was a lot of things going on. And at the time, like, I would sit down to eat, and in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, I got this report to do tomorrow. I got this to do tomorrow. Like all these things. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just go do that instead. And like I wouldn't realize that the loss of appetite was coming from that. So like there's a bunch of things that could trigger certain things within our body, that if we're not, paying attention to it, it could turn into something way bigger. So
right.
I could
Stress
definitely see it.
is definitely a big factor in a lot of things. And I think at that time I was overworking myself so much that I think I put my body into this mode where at that point I just kept getting sick. And it was like more things and more things. And I think at the time, I think nothing was working for me because I think I was just stressing even more the fact that these things were happening to me, as I was going to the doctor. And okay, so I was diagnosed with PCOS, and then a couple months after that, I had tested positive for ANA, which is anti-nuclear antibodies, and that basically that considers that you have an autoimmune disease. So at that point, then you go to another specialist, and then you figure out exactly which autoimmune disease you have. But at that given time, when you go to the doctor, some doctors are just not some people just don't have common sense to just not say certain things to a person. But at that time, that doctor was putting lupus in my head. So then at that point I was like, oh my god, I might have lupus, or I might, and all this stuff. But it was
So
never
all the worst possibilities went through your head at that time.
right. Yeah, because this is happening to me, and now, and then later on I ended up having hypothyroidism as well. So basically where my thyroid levels are not balanced properly and they're actually higher than normal, so I have to actually take medicine to level out those levels. So now every 3 months I have to go to the doctor to make sure that my levels are good.
So what was all of these are all of these things kind of like a domino effect, like where one triggers the other and then the other and the other and
I actually don't know if one triggers the other, but for me, it happened like a ripple effect. So the first year I had PCOS, and then that following year I ended up finding out that I had ANA. And so I kept testing and testing, and then at that point I had given up, and I was like, you know what, forget about it. And I actually stopped trying to figure out what I have because there's so many different autoimmune diseases I have. So I ended up believing that I had Hashimoto's, which is basically very relative to the side effects that I was going through. And then I ended up finding out that I had hypothyroidism, um, and that actually runs in my family. So it was kind of something that just was passed down to me, I guess. I believe it's genetic. I'm not entirely sure. I never really looked into it to see if it was genetic, but I know a couple people that do have it in my family, and that actually stems from all of these that I was going through. Weight gain was like the number one thing, and it was crazy because I went from being really skinny to people telling me that I looked sick, and then actually going to the gym, looking good, trying to put that effort in to make myself feel good and look good, and then because I worked so hard, it kind of went downhill and I got burnt out. And basically, I think also a big part of that was stress.
yeah. And I think, one of the things that just from like thinking about what I was asking too is like things triggering one thing triggered the other and it's kind of like a domino effect. And then
Mm-hmm.
also when sometimes we take medication for one thing, not realizing it could cause something else to happen, and that could be a trigger for something else that's going on in our body. And then there's some things that lie dormant in your body until something else happens, and that thing is triggered now. So I think that's I say that it's interesting, but it's kind of like crazy that that's something that you were going through, like that effect of, some people are just dealing with one thing at a time, and now here you go. While you're dealing with one, you're battling with second, third, fourth, whatever it is, like all these things at once. Um, to now, and I don't know how far past like being, if you're still dealing with some of those things or not. Are you? Is that something you're dealing with now, and like any of those things now?
Yeah, so I am still currently dealing with PCOS. I actually recently tested about 2 months ago for my antibodies, and I'm actually negative. And
Is that
four
good?
years, which is good.
That's
So
good. Okay, that's
basically,
climbing up.
yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
climbing. That's
So
climbing.
yeah,
Okay,
right.
that's a
It's
good thing.
coming
Yeah,
up, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm not sure
So
if that's a good thing.
basically,
I never know if
anti
negative is like.
right, yeah, because I mean, I was so happy when I finally got my blood work, and she was like, "You actually tested negative." So I'm actually gonna go back again just to make sure. But I always like to check because anti-nuclear antibodies, what it does is that your body thinks it's sick. So it's
Okay,
constantly going to put in that mode to work harder to fight the sickness, even though I'm not. So my body's always
which
in
is
that
draining.
stage.
That's gonna basically, yeah. So yeah. So okay. So that actually was something I was thinking about before that you mentioned. And in my mind, like I always think about balancing life. Like I'm very
Mm-hmm.
big on like finding what how do I balance this situation out? How do I balance out my home life, my work? How do I, try to be creative but also be consistent in life in itself? Like I always want to do something new. So for me, that's a challenge that I'm constantly dealing with, finding balance. So in your case, you're dealing with all these other things, and then now you're at a point where you're still dealing with some of it, of course, but now how are you going to balance between taking that time for self and then now you putting three different programs out or like content that you're creating and like all these things, like how are you finding the balance? That's something that I think a lot of people struggle with, especially when you come out to TikTok and you're like, this is an organic thing and I feel comfortable here and you want to create. How do you find the balance to create and then also take the time for yourself and deal with the things that you're dealing with now?
So basically, for me, it's alone time. So I try to focus on me, whether if I'm laying in the bed or watching a show or just taking time to myself to kind of rehabilitate and kind of hibernate in a way. So one of them is for me sleep. I
I was
enjoy
just about to.
with it.
I'm like, I'm hoping she's going to that route because I
Yeah.
think that's something that people always overlook. Is just like, yo, sit down and rest. Like sometimes you don't realize how much 8 hours, 10 hours of sleep. You wake up the next day and you're like, man,
Yes.
everything is different. It's like, bro, you finally slept. Like you haven't been sleeping in this long period of time. So rest is key. Like is a huge part of
Yes.
it. Yeah.
And plus, there are little other things that I do. I get a little elevated, and that's part of my relaxing. But I try not to stem so much. So actually, recently, I haven't really been smoking as much as I used to.
Right.
I consider it more of a remedy. It's like having a nice cup of tea
Right.
before I go to bed. Right now I'm not elevated. And it's crazy because I try not to be so much, and during the day I don't like to be. If I'm not doing anything, then maybe I will, but majority of the time I'm livid
Right.
until I have to take that time to myself. And that time to myself is people will have a cup of wine, and to me, I like
It's the
to be
equivalent.
elevated.
Yeah. Not, and I definitely correlate. Like I personally can't. I wish I could, but I've had so many bad experiences with it. I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just a little brown sippy sip and that's it for me. Like
Right.
I'm good with that. And sometimes honestly for me my escape is a movie. I sit down, watch a movie with my girl and we just vibe out. Like that's enough of unplugging for me. Unfortunately, my brain doesn't shut down completely because as a creator, a writer, and things like that, like I start analyzing the movie and things. But I do find a lot of like rest in it. Like it takes my mind away and kind of like that's how
Actually,
I get my escape. So
what I do sometimes is I'll turn off my phone, throw it in the drawer, close the drawer, and then go to the complete opposite side of the house.
that's a good
And
unplugging for real. That's
yeah,
like
so
really
sometimes I
unplugging.
do that, and like people now are, getting more upset with me in certain circumstances because I haven't reached out. And that's because it's just like it it doesn't stem from that person, it stems from me where I need a break. And that does mean nothing against anybody. It just you need. So I'm gonna, this is just advice to everybody, and advice for you is that sometimes you just have to say no.
Yes, I mean I'm glad you said it because I was like, man, you're leading me into a thought, and my thought was going to, you know, this is a PSA for everybody watching, gonna watch in the future. Like, there's you have to be able to respect that when sometimes somebody's unplugging, like they're not trying to avoid you, they're not trying to, you know, I don't know, like people take it personal sometimes, but oh, you don't call no more, you don't do this, you don't do that. It's like I got my own things going on. Like the same way you got things going on. Like, I personally with like my kids, my job, my this, all these things. I have a million things that I'm trying to do in life. And some
Hmm.
of that means that I have to sacrifice the time that I, would love to spend with friends and family and certain things that I would love to do. But I have to prioritize. Like for me personally, like I'm big on prioritizing my time. Like if I can't do something, I'll say no. Um, or I try to make sure that the things that I am saying yes to are in alignment with the things that I'm trying to accomplish. So if I'm saying yes and committing myself to something that's going to last 3, 4 months, well, that better somehow, impact or like, help me going furthering one of the things that I'm trying to do. So I think that's another big thing. So I want to kind of circle it back to the programming in the sense that you're doing, because I do know from watching and being in your lives and interacting with you off of TikTok as well, is that you have this very extensive creative side. Like you have a huge creative side, and for some people that have been in your lives, they probably experience it as the different characters. I'll call them characters or personalities that we get to see. That we've kind of coined some of them and we name some of them at this point. But I think I always look at it as like it's like we're seeing your creativity in
Right.
live. Basically, it's like happening right now live when you don't have the paintbrush in your hand and it turns into um hello, and it's like, oh, here we go, we're getting
Right. I
another
mean,
person,
darling,
another character here.
it's more like I kind of go into these characters and I try to keep my mind off things because when I do an accent, I kind of focus on the accent more than I focus on my brain.
Right.
And that's the way you got to go. And
So
sometimes you have to
so
turn it
I
off.
want to mention, I guess, a few, or like talk about a few in a sense like that, where did they come from, or like where do they, like where do they stem from. So we have well, you tell me what are some of the characters that people that tune in to your different shows. What are some characters they may see on Live with Janine.
I mean, I don't have names for them. I mean, you have named a couple, but my name my name keeps changing. But I think it's officially we have named her Tina.
Tina, yep. we,
Yeah, so I
we
think
we know
that's
when
the
Tina comes out now.
I went from Karen to Kathy to Tina, and I think that Tina stuck to me because Serena had mentioned that I kind of remind her and look like Tina Fey. And
I
Tina,
saw that and I was like, when they said Tina, I said, yo, you look,
right.
yeah, like big time, like,
Because
yeah.
I'm a very big goofball, and I think with one of my sisters, her name is Amanda, and she's only a year younger than me. We're Irish twins, and when we grew up, we did a lot of skits. We did a lot of like, dancing and singing, and we liked doing and becoming these characters and being goofballs. So it naturally came. I mean, I've always had that in me. And when you guys saw it, that was something that just sporadically vomited out of my body and I couldn't control it. And I was like, oh, now I'm comfortable, guys. You want to meet me? Like,
Here
this
she
is
is.
me.
Yeah. And I think is awesome. And I think you should, as again, a fellow creator, like I'm like, you should tap into all of those things. Like I always get that, yo, you're doing too much. Like everybody kind of has to reel me in sort of. And I'm like, yo, I can't do one thing. Like it's hard for me to do one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always like, today's Tuesday. You might ask me, what are you today? Today I'm a host. Tomorrow I might be like, I'm a writer, or I'm a coach, like all these different things that I do. And I'm always trying to like identify it or like say, this is the thing that I do. And it's hard. And then I get to a point where I'm like, you know what? If you ask me what I do for a living, I do whatever it takes. Like that's what I do for a living. Like,
I think that's why me and you are very similar, and a lot of people can see that we're kind of alike because I'm exactly the same way. And I think what people always expect from me that they think I fail, right? Because I don't complete a certain thing or
mm,
I don't go all the way with that particular
talk
thing that
about it.
or
Talk
project.
about it. Preach.
Right. And it's not like
Relatable.
fail, it's more like I'm so good at so many things, and this is not to sound conceited or not to sound that I'm better than anybody else.
Yep.
Rawr, with the tiny tiny, I had to do that, but yeah. And it's not that. It's just you teach me something, I take that information in, and I do as you said,
Yeah.
And I think that's where people are like, oh my god, you're good at this or you're good at that, And it's so crazy because then people start feeding into my ear and they're like, oh, well, you should do this because you're good at it. And I'm like, but I'm also good at this, and that.
Right.
Like, you can't just say that I'm good at this.
It's a struggle. The biggest struggle for me is like I feel like I'm good at,
No.
a bunch of different things, and there's a bunch of things that I want to do. So for me, I always try to figure out a way to weave them into each other and make sure that they're all staying connected in some way. And I find that the thing that does make me happy most is just creating whatever it is that I'm creating. Like as long as I'm creating something and I'm doing something that's creative to me, or those and really the reason why is that when I am creating, those things inspire people to do something, or it makes somebody happy. Like, if it's a video that people laugh at, or
Yeah.
I'm speaking in a room and I'm at peak. Like I feel like I'm at my highest level of joy and happiness when I'm in a room. If it's like 2 or 3 people or 20 people, and I
Hmm.
get a laugh, like for me, like I'm like, oh, I'm on fire right now. Like
Right.
if you ever
The
catch
good
me and
old.
yeah, you already know. Like you got to experience. Like I felt like I was on a roll, and I'm like, yo,
Mhm.
this is that's 420 for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that will you'll be like, yo, I think he's on something. Like I'm no lie, like he was not like that 20 minutes ago. But it would be like one thing would just be like, and it just nonstop. Like I'm just all right, I'm off. Like,
Hmm.
um, but that's the thing. I'm kind of for me, it's like I'm always constantly chasing that. Like I want that feeling all the time. And the only way
Right.
I get it is if I'm creating, if I'm doing content or
And
whatever it is. Like
and
big.
also, I think another struggle for me is I get bored very easily.
Mm,
So
relatable.
I feel like that's why I kind of move on to new things, because I get bored and I'm like, but I think one of the things that I always stuck to was makeup, and so many people have pushed me to make something out of it. And anything that I was interested in prior to that, I always made something out of it, and then I never fully took it there. So now I'm telling people no. I'm telling people, leave me alone. Let me do my thing. Don't tell me what to do with this. Whatever
Right.
comes out of it, whatever comes out of it, you know?
And that's funny because I think that was one of the conversations we had. So I'm like, yo, what are you doing with the makeup thing? And you were like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, you should do this. And I was like, but actually, she's just saying she's just having fun with it. Which then
Hmm.
I started to realize that for me, I find myself doing that sometimes. It's like I talk about I do acting, right? But whenever
Hmm.
I talked about it previously, it was like I don't see you act. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't need to be every day doing it. Like, it
Right.
doesn't change the fact that I'm an actor. Like, at heart, like, I know that I can act and I could do a scene or whatever. Like, that's something I could do. Or, I'm a writer, but that doesn't mean I need to write every single day, nor do I need to get paid to do it for you to acknowledge the fact that I am a writer. So at the end of the day, you're a makeup artist, whether you're getting paid to be a makeup artist. Cause I think that was the thing that I was like, yo, but you're really good. Like, you should get paid for this. And you were like, no, I do it for free. I'm like,
Hmm.
what? And you're like, yeah, I just love it. Like I just enjoy it. And I'm like, you know what? I think most people don't have something that they truly enjoy doing and just brings them joy,
Right.
and separate from things that they have to get paid for. Right? Like we go to a job and then everything that we do after that, if it's not driven by money or like motivated by money, then we don't do it. So
Hmm.
I thought that was dope that you said that. Like, no, I just do it for fun and I love it. Like, and now you're sharing it. Like you're doing your
Right.
makeup Monday and you're sharing that passion, which I think is another one of the highest forms of expression, is being able to take your passion and share it with people, and then not share it for money. Like you don't have to get paid to
Hmm.
do it. You're just doing it because you love to do it, which from what I understand from people who are way more wealthier or richer than I am, is that is the true way to make money. Like that's how the money actually starts to roll in, is when you find something that you love to do and you just do it every day. It's when you stop worrying about money. So,
Hmm.
it's actually it's kind of cool that that's where you're at. Like I just love to do it and I'm going to do it. And
Right.
now, 6 months from now, who knows what you'll be doing with
Where
it.
I'll be doing.
It might be something totally different
It's
and
it's crazy because
crazy.
I can give you an example, because I'm very artsy. So I do paint, I do makeup, I do photography, and I do videography, and I also do editing. So I'm a very big sensitive person. So me making little short films and making cute little videos and making people cry, I love that. I get a thrill of that.
Mm.
So
So you like the
I
drama, like the
started.
tear jerking kind of like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah, because I
genre
like
film. Okay.
I love memories, and I love putting stuff together for people, and having them relive that moment. It's really nice to watch them and see it. So I still do it, and I do it for like people that I know, but it did turn into a company, and I did people, and I did a bridal shower, and I hated it.
Mm.
Completely hated it.
Which I think
It
is
went
so
into
important though. Like even what you were saying before about like people saying like you failed at something, but I feel like if I don't do 100 different things, how am I ever gonna know what I'm truly good at? Versus
right.
like, okay, you're pretty good at that, or like something that I'm truly passionate about versus something that I just do this on the side. It's kind of fun,
Hmm.
but I feel like I think that's why I obsess over things very easily. Like if I find something new, anybody that really knows me, they're gonna tell you like it's kind of like, yo, chill, bro, you're doing too much. But because I'm like, I need to find out, I need to know everything about this topic, I need to know everything about this thing. How do I do it? How do I? And then eventually I'll be like, oh, no, it's not actually not as exciting as I thought it was, and then I just kind of blow it off. But some people, like you said, will look at that as like failure or like, oh, another thing that you're giving up, you're not
Hmm.
gonna follow through. It's like, no, I got it. I took it as far as I could take it, as much as I want to, as far as I want to go with it, and now I'm good. Like I'm comfortable walking away from this person,
And
place,
if
or thing, whatever it is.
that was like one of the last things, I was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not taking something I like and turning it into a job. The minute I turned it into a job, I,
Suck the fun out of
yeah,
it.
it basically,
Yeah, I trust me, I could relate with so many different things. Like, especially like I started a nonprofit
yeah.
years ago, and in trying to help people, I realized, and I don't. This is gonna kind of sound dumb, but I realized how hard it is to actually help people. Like there's so much politics, there's so many different things like things that you have to hurdles that you have to jump to actually help people on a like a big scale. It might be easier to just hand somebody a couple dollars than it is to go out and create an event that you could just hand out backpacks with school supplies in them and things like that. Like that's not as easy as it looks sometimes. We show up as a kid, I would go to these events and be like, oh, we got free toys or we got, free school
Mhm.
supplies, not realizing that it took somebody. I done that event. I did it 2 years in a row. Um, but it takes so much time. Like it was like 3 or 4 months of planning for this one day. Um, and it's a lot of energy that you put into it. And although I did it because I love to do it, it became something that I was like, this is becoming a job. The work that I'm putting in is taking away time from my family, it's taking away time from work. And now it's getting to the point where I was like, do I really want to do this? Like it's draining. It got to the point where like I can't do this anymore. So I know that feeling. And for those of you who are experiencing it or have experienced it, I say try as many different things as you can. And when it drains you or it feels like you get to that point where it's just too much, it is. Let it go. Try something new, or put that thing down and walk away from it. And if it calls you back, then you know.
Mhm.
So, which this series, or Tim started out as um Tim's Tuesday on YouTube. I had started something there on YouTube and I did it for a little while. But doing it in person is a whole nother struggle. The beauty in what we're doing right now is like you're home. You didn't have to come to the studio, like you didn't have to come out somewhere and then, your car or this or that. Like this is a perfect platform that allows us to interact, have an interview, we could talk about anything, and then it's like, okay, turn off the camera and then I'm home. You know what I mean? Like it's it's
Right.
it's easy. So
Now I just
yeah.
take off my makeup. I'm like, all right, now I can go to bed.
Exactly. Boom, done. So we talked about Makeup Monday a little bit. We talked about briefly talked about just your story in general. But I like the idea, and I think when I first heard you do or say that you were gonna do Flawless Friday, I thought about that first live that I talked about. That it was kind of like you were putting on your makeup, but you looked like you were getting ready to go somewhere. And I don't even know if you were that day or not. I don't even know if did you what happened?
Can't hear you.
Did you lose me?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, I'm like you kind of got choppy too. So my question was, with
Yeah.
for those who've never seen it or haven't seen your lives yet, um, talk to us a little bit of what is Flawless Friday, and why is it important? Why should people tune into that?
Right. So Flawless Friday is basically the weekend here, guys. Okay, but yeah, basically, I mean, for me growing up, I came home on Friday, I got out of work, got ready, did my makeup, got dressed. So I definitely do want to make it a full series where I actually show a full fit as well, because I did love fashion at one point in my life, and I think that's when my body was at the peak and where I loved it and where I was more comfortable. Now I've grown more into the body that I'm in right now.
Hmm.
It's still in progress. I'm still losing weight and I'm still getting better and healthier, because I mean, I'm being forced to at this point. I have to, because if I don't put my body first, then, everything else is just going to keep coming back, and I'm trying to
Right.
stray away from that. But Flawless Friday is, you're going to go out and we need to look good. And for me, what was fun is getting ready with the girls, getting ready with like a bunch of people. And I think a lot of people like to watch. And, I wanted to give tips and tricks because, I mean, it's crazy because like you see so many girls now and they post pictures and videos and their makeup looks so good. And it's like everybody knows how to do makeup, but not everybody. And I like to show tips and tricks on what you can do to make yourself or your future stand out more than usual. So for me, I just wanted to share my brain a little bit. And,
So do
for
you do
instance,
like because I don't personally know a lot about makeup. I know a little bit, which we've talked about, that I have a little makeup kit when I go on set or I have to like
right, which
show
I
up
thought
camera
that's,
ready. So do you do like different looks? Like again, you could share some of like what goes into doing a look.
yeah, I mean,
What are some of those things?
there's so many different ways that you could put mascara on. There's so many different ways you could put eyeliner on, and, bronzer and baking powder and doing your lips. There's so many different variations of how you could do it. And especially what I learned, and what's so crazy is that makeup, I never took it as a job. So I've been doing makeup for such a long time that as I got older, I got better at it. So
Mm,
that that to me, and then also doing people's makeup for free and seeing different features and cheekbones and the way their eyebrows were and stuff like that, I gave the little bit tips and tricks for that person's silhouette of their
like
face,
that, yeah. It's
because
more catered to their look.
right, whatever I do to my face, some people can't do to their face, if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
And I think what aggravates me the most is that some of these content creators go and they purchase so expensive makeup, and I'm like,
Average
it's not,
people
it's
aren't
like,
doing that. Yeah, like they
who
can't even
aren't
afford it.
really doing that. I mean, my makeup I get from Target and Walmart, and I do sometimes go to Ulta and I do get makeup from there, but I'm getting like ColourPop or like NYX. I'm getting things that aren't so inexpensive. So it's like I can relate to the average
Right.
human being, and, a girl wise, or men, in general. And I could still look good as the person that spent $100 on her foundation compared to I spent $5 on my foundation. Do you get what I'm
I
saying?
I
So
I love that because like I personally, when you were talking before about incorporating like outfits into into that like series, I like fashion, and I get it all the time when I go out. It's like, damn, like somebody called me a hype beast once, which I at the time I didn't really know what that meant, which was like, I don't know, for whoever doesn't know what a hype beast is somebody who's into like all the trends, like the type of person who will buy Jordans and have all the like latest stuff. And I'm like, not at all. Like if you saw my closet, most of my stuff is from like Marshalls, Walmart, Target. Like I shop in regular stores. But my thing is like how I
yeah,
put it together, like the little things, and accessorizing and adding things that it's not just a t-shirt. It's a little bit more because of the other things that you're adding to it. So I could definitely relate to that, and I that kind of makes me feel like I should do something that I started to do, but I should do more of it, which is like putting outfits together. And I should incorporate that they're not, maybe say where they're from, because some people are thinking that I'm putting these outfits together, and somebody that I know personally saw one of my videos, and was like, "Oh, you just go shopping to make your videos now?" I'm like, "Bro, all of that was in my closet already. Like that wasn't all I did was like record it. Like I didn't, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like it's not I saw somebody say something about they said instead of going shopping at a store, next time go shopping in your closet. And I'm like, "What?" And basically they're just saying you immediately think to go out to a store
Right.
when you know that there's an event coming up. You're like, "Oh, I got to go shopping." But you forget, like, bro, your closet is full with like 10 years worth of clothes, and half of that stuff you don't wear on a regular basis. So, like,
Right.
go into your closet, tap into what you might have in there first, and then maybe go and grab, one thing that you might be missing or something along those lines. Like,
I've
that,
seen
I
your
thought that was
video,
dope.
and I think I've mentioned it to you as well. I'm like, you should do this more.
Yeah,
You
I
should
did
do
one
this
for
more.
the baby too. I don't know if you ever saw that one, but
Yeah,
that
yeah, I
that was
did see that one. I
I
love
want
that
to
one.
do Serena keeps saying like I should do like the daddy and me kind of thing, like two, like both of our outfits, like matching outfits or something.
Yes, you guys should.
Which I definitely can't wait to have be able to do stuff content wise with Journey. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be dope.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, so we talked about both shows Monday and Friday already, and then the last one, which is new, so nobody's technically seen yet, is Skincare
Actually,
Sundays,
I
which
have done basically I think I've done 2 episodes of that.
oh, you have? Okay, so
Yes.
because when we were talking about it before, you were like starting after the Super Bowl, but I didn't realize it's basically picking up, like you're just starting
Right,
again.
I'm picking because then I realized when I was doing it, I'm like, oh, there's a game going on. And then I did it again and I was like, wait, there's a game going on. And then I was like, you know
Oh,
what? Let me
football
just
season.
stop for a second.
Okay.
Because when the Super Bowl and football's out, I mean, like after Thanksgiving, you're like, all right, they're in the
Yeah.
game. So, I mean, I get it. You know, people get ready, they're cooking, they're making their wings, they're getting the table, the dips ready or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? All right, let me just. Sundays when football's out is not a relaxing Sunday for people.
Right, that's true. That's very true. Some people are like, "Yo, I'm not doing nothing. It's football Sunday,
Yeah.
so you ain't gonna
And
see it."
actually, this past Monday was actually my first day doing Makeup Monday, and I was not prepared for it. I felt like, and I think a lot of people had seen me, whoever's in the boxes now, saw that I got frustrated, and they've never seen that from me before because makeup can be frustrating. I just try to not show it on live, but I think I was just
It's
stemming
reality
because
TV, baby. It's reality TV.
TV,
This is
technically,
what
it
happens
is.
on reality TV. Like you have
It's
pop
it's
like
frustrating to
spiral.
do
You might
makeup.
spiral and throw a drink
I
at
love a
somebody.
good spiral.
The problem is that the person you're throwing the drink at is yourself.
Right. The one that's pulling the hair is me.
Yeah, you're pulling your own hair. I didn't realize that I think it was that when you were painting the pink on your
Yeah,
face?
that's when I actually like went
Got it.
full spiral. I was like, all right, screw this. Just gonna paint my face at this point, you know?
Okay, so what so now that does that mean that you're gonna have a little more like of an outline or scheduling of what you're gonna do like ahead? Or does that mean you're
So
just kind of like allow the spiral to happen
right.
in the
So the
future?
thing for me is when I do my looks, they're not planned. I
Okay.
go with what my mind or what I'm feeling that day, whether if it's colorful or like, I try not to do a focused look. Oh, thank you. And I think what it was is Monday I focused on a cut crease. And what a cut crease is basically me cutting the crease of my eyelids to my brow bone. And I have very hooded eyes that even if I did do the cut crease, the lines start to mix and then they're not prominent. So then you don't see that cut crease. And it frustrates me because I've done many cut creases, but I've never done it on live. I've always done it and then take a quick video and then like literally I'll go and I'll sit on the couch and I'll blink 4 times and it's like
Got
you don't even see the line anymore, you know?
the other day, I don't know if this was that day. I'm not sure what it was, but I remember coming into one of your lives and you were doing your makeup, or you were about to start, and I remember seeing you had tape like right here, I
Oh
think it
yeah.
was, or like on both sides, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, babe, look, I don't know what's going on with Janine's face, but she has her face taped, and I think you hadn't started yet, and she's like, babe, she's about to do her makeup. I think that's what it was. You hadn't started yet, and I'm like, I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. Janine has her
Oh
face
my god,
taped,
that's so
so I was
funny.
like, I wasn't sure. She was like, she's probably gonna put like a line or something. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Like, I get it.
That's hilarious.
Like, I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
just
on.
like to tape my face before I
She
put my
has
makeup
her
on,
eyes
no?
taped. And she's like, she literally
Yeah,
looked at me
so
like, bro, like
sometimes I do the
you don't know
little
what's going on
tape
here.
because instead of me cleaning, I just have like a nice, finished
No, I
line.
get it. I've painted a room before. We put tape down and make nice cuts, and
Right.
you
Basically,
feel it.
my face is my canvas.
Okay, that's
That's
cool.
how I
I like
consider it. And I always tell everybody, I'm like, literally, your face is a canvas.
I like that. Your face is a canvas.
Yeah.
um, so we talked about all three. So the for those of you who have not tuned into one of Janine's lives or anything of her series, I will say that you will be entertained. You will learn something, as I did, about makeup, about yourself, right? Like even just in just her talking and interacting, she brings very interesting people into her lives. She does do battles as well. So she's very competitive in that way, which it's exciting to watch her her battle.
Rah, with the
Um,
tiny tiny. Sorry, I had to
with
do
the
that.
tiny. So if you haven't, you should definitely tune into one of those as well. That's definitely a good. And that's always funny because I see people who battle and they're just like whatever. Oh, come on, guys, let's go. And then people who when they get a gift and they're entertaining with it. So Janine is definitely one of those types of people. So you should definitely tune into that. One of her her lives for that. But I think the content speaks for itself. I think the fact that today is Valentine's Day, and I wanted this episode to be about self love. I'm happy to see that although it's only been a few months, you've come a long way since then, and even when I first met you here on TikTok, and I've had the pleasure to be able to meet you in person.
Yes.
So
Sorry, I'm
very
like reading the comments and I'm
no, I
like,
get it. So I'm very happy that I've been able to do that as well. So I will leave. I'm gonna do a quick little 5 minute because I last time I didn't even get to go to the comments. So I want to go to the comments and just see if there's any questions anybody specifically has we might have missed before. I'm gonna
yeah.
kind of
So
open up the comments that we're gonna pay attention to the comments now for a few minutes.
Mr. Cheese
Um,
was like, ask about Monica. I don't know if you know about Monica. You do know about Monica, right?
Monica, I don't know about Monica. I know like a cat, like I said, Kathy, Tina, and Janine, but I'm not sure who Monica is. Pull a card. Oh man, what is that,
This is Monica.
bruh? What?
Okay, so
What is
at
that
a
for?
point, right. So at a given point, I was like, all right, if I keep going on live and I keep putting makeup on my face, my skin's going to be raw because I keep taking off the makeup. And yesterday, after doing 2 looks, my eyes, underneath my eyes, were burning me so much. And this is why I bought Monica.
Oh, so you could put the makeup on
So
that?
I can put the makeup on
Let's
her.
go,
Yeah. So
Monica.
right now she's obviously, she
O-
doesn't have anything.
Okay,
So it
Monica.
comes down to drawing the eyebrows and everything. So I was like, you know what? I don't know why I bought a
What do
quarter
you put that
face.
on? Do you have to put that on
Why didn't
something?
I just
Buy a whole
buy the
mannequin.
whole head? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I'm just like, why did I just do
Because that
this?
thing's
And
giving off creepy vibes a little bit, like just a little bit. Janine, please clarify who your best friend is. Thanks. That comes in
I'm
from
not.
Awakening
This
Faith
is my
8.
best friend, guys. Wait, wait,
Yay!
wait. Can we just do it real quick? We're the two best
Best
friends that
friends that
anyone
anyone.
can
Ha
have.
ha ha,
We're the two.
Serena. Ha ha ha, Crystal. Ha ha ha, Jess. Ha ha ha. You guys can't
Colina.
get in the box, and you can't get in the box to
Jay.
argue it. Ha ha ha, Colina.
Watch
Ha ha
now.
ha,
Watch
babe.
your
I
mouth.
got you.
Now they're gonna call me and they're gonna be like,
Yeah.
"What did
Now,
you
now,
say?"
now they want in. But guess what? Hey, so I saw that I'm
Rude.
not gonna do it. I'm not gonna pull a card. Well, actually, do you want me to pull a card?
Yeah, yeah. Let's do it. I think
All
it's
right.
so great when you do it, and it's hilarious, and I feel like you should do
So
it all the time. I feel like
I'm
it's a
gonna pull a
good
card.
like you know
It's a I think it's a great segue to wrap up and kind
wrap
of
up. Right.
I'm gonna I'm gonna pull a
Wait. So
card.
this is for me, right? I mean,
This is for you.
the
This is for
deck.
you. You
Right.
guys
The
don't have
deck.
to
Wait.
drop any
What was
crystal
you
balls
saying?
here.
I'm trying
Um,
to.
Serena wants the palm reading. Let's do a palm reading. Should we do the palm reading?
No, let's
I
do
th-
both of them.
let's do both.
We're on here anyway, right?
Let's do both. All right. So I'm gonna shuffle these cards
Wait, so
real
is
quick.
this
We're gonna
reading
pull
for
a card.
me?
This reading is for you. There's no.
Oh,
This
okay,
it's
okay.
all about you right now.
Wait,
Okay.
Serena, you
This,
heard that, right? This reading is for me. Crystal, you
this
heard that, right?
reading
Okay, yeah.
is for.
This the deck of cards is what's meant for me. All right.
This one is. I'm gonna wake these up. I want you to focus on something. Focus on a question or a message that you want to receive here. I'm tapping into my inner witch.
You're such a troll.
All
All
right.
about you right now.
All about you right now. Here we go. It's okay. So
Oh,
wait, wait, whoa, wait, shit, don't come
don't
back.
come back to me.
Oh, guys, tomorrow, Witch Out Wednesday.
Check her out. Be
All
there or
right,
be squared.
all right. You have your question in your head.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna pull three cards, and I can't just pull one. And then we're gonna build out the story. I mean the message. Okay, X xylophone. We got the
Love all the
xylophone right
colors.
there. I'm gonna place that right down there. We have yo, we're getting cards that we haven't seen on Tim's Tuesday right now. I don't know. We,
Is
we
that a
we got
tricycle?
that's the unicycle. That's
Oh,
one.
unicycle.
One. It's like about you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one. Make up
Makeup palette.
make a palette. Let's see. Oh, I
Is
definitely
that an
haven't even seen
elf?
this. Yeah. And the elf. I definitely haven't seen these cards before. Like now I'm so I've had like all the same cards and I always use the same like
Wait, you got to
thing.
do it like Serena. You got to
So
pull
yeah,
out
I'm
the
gonna
card at the bottom.
oh, we gotta show the card on the bottom, which is the
Is that a rabbit?
rabbit. Mr. Cheese said, the elf is Colina. Um,
Right.
all right, so here's the spread. Here's the three cards. We have we have the xylophone, we have the unicycle, and we have the elf. Serena, do you want to pop up real quick because I feel like it'd be
She's
great if
great
you
when she
explain these.
explains it.
The explanation of it will be awesome. If you pop up real quick, go ahead and send the request so you could definitely I I wasn't gonna bring you up at first, but the fact that so many different cards that haven't come up yet popped up, like now I kind of want the I want to hear the explanation of it, like
So you could
just
speed
for
into it.
everybody to know, this did start out as a joke, but deep down, I do believe that we could receive messages through any medium. So the messages being translated by someone who actually does this is very meaningful, and it actually allows us to receive the message. So again, in this case, I have to bring up the in-house witch
The
to
mastermind.
to do the breakdown here because I want to say these three cards never came up. Am I
Now they
right?
need me exactly.
These three cards
Exactly, Crystal.
never came up. And then I think the rabbit has come up. So Serena, do you need to see the cards again and the order?
No, I already
Uh
told you. The xylophone is her makeup palette.
oh, that's what that
The
was.
tricycle is an actor
Unicycle,
performer.
unicycle.
Unicycle.
Unicycle. Oh, sorry,
Performing
unicycle. That's
alone.
something
Okay,
It's
on
at
that's
the
this
lives.
thing.
Okay, I like
performing.
that. Wait.
And the
Yeah,
elf
yeah, the elf.
always works hard. The always works hard. He's a hard
Oh,
worker, right? So if you put
hard
those three
work.
together, working hard on your makeup, right? Because you're a single man show. And I think the
Mm.
rabbit is fertility.
Oh,
The
I
rabbit
like
always
that.
represents fertility,
Come on,
abundance.
man. You come here, you get the full
No, I'm
show.
just here.
You know what I mean?
Right?
You get the full experience.
Okay.
And I do want to show
Wait. Hold on. Quick. We're the
go ahead.
three best
Best
friends that
friend. Ha
everyone.
ha ha. Look who's not here. Take a look. Everybody that's not here, go ahead, take a look. Serena, I wanted to show this deck because it looks so much like yours. And I told you I had a deck that looked like the one that you received. I brought it out so I could show it today because it kind of goes with
Wait,
my
no,
vibe
no,
if you really look. Like,
you're so
see that?
disrespectful,
Look
bro.
at the lighting.
That's your
Look at it.
brother.
I just want you to see it
He's
because
so
this I've been
disrespectful.
having this deck.
Colita, let
I'm
me
not
in the
gonna
room.
pull a card of this deck, Serena. So chill. I already know I know. I see it
If
in your
if
face.
if if you're gonna do it,
Um,
that
no,
reading's for me.
no, I'm not doing it. I just wanted to show you that what they look like because
Yo,
they're
yo, yo,
fire.
wait, hold on. You can't give that reading to nobody else but me. I'm claiming that reading.
Oh boy, here we
Hey,
go. Here goes the
I
drama.
claim second reading. Serena, you already know I'm second, so I already said that on you.
So I just wanted to show that deck because Serena's here. Oh
Oh no,
look,
we're gonna play
Serena.
with that one. Let's play with it.
Anyway,
I don't know what
um,
that is. Would you
yeah,
show
it was
me?
Mr.
from
Cheese
one of
says
the
third.
retreats. It was one of the retreats.
Oh,
Um,
Oh, so we're gonna do
so
palm reading too.
oh, the palm reading. Um,
Oh, I'm
I,
gonna drop down for this
no, yeah,
because
I'm
this is
not
his
doing the
thing.
palm.
This
I'm
is
not
his thing.
doing it. I'm
No,
not. I'm
no,
not. I'm
do
not.
it. You should
I'm
dude.
not. I really
Just
don't.
even a quick
No,
one. You're so good at
I've
it,
never
though.
seen you. I didn't even know
You're
about the
so
palm
good at
reading.
it.
Come on, you got
Bro.
to do it.
All right, guys, let's do it. Serena, get
Uh,
out of here.
but can you get rid of me so that I don't have to leave the live? I don't know how to
What?
do it myself where I don't get kicked out.
Nah, just get kicked down, and come back, cause I can't. I
Ah,
don't.
okay, that's
You're
fine.
making me work. Make me do more work. All right, so just so you, just so you know, the whole palm reading thing is something that I told Serena I'm gonna start doing because it's something that she doesn't do. So you could go ahead and you're gonna raise your palm up right there like this.
My right hand or my left?
Yeah, that one right there.
Okay.
I don't know which one it is. I don't know if it's right or left or see. This is why I told Serena I'm not doing this. But okay, let's take a look. Let's see. Um, yeah, I don't know why Serena told me to do this. You can put your hand down. So so I'm gonna just say that I told Serena the only reason why I was gonna start doing palm readings on here is because it's something that she doesn't do. So
Do, yeah.
she was like, okay, okay, and I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm gonna do it. Like I really convinced her that I was gonna start doing it, but it was just a joke. I'm not doing that. That's
Just
not something that
try
I
it.
do.
Just try it. I mean, when you did
You
the
know
cards,
how,
it was
bro?
hilarious because it
It
came out
was.
natural.
It was. But see, that's what I'm saying. Serena's putting me on the spot like she really wants me to do this, but it's not. You know what? I'll do it on another live, not here on Tim's Tuesday. Um, I have a few things that I want to quickly mention. First and foremost, before I do that, I want to one thank you, Janine, for taking the time. As we said,
Of
time is the
course.
one thing that we cannot get back. It is the one commodity. No matter how hard we work, we might get paid. We might get physical things that we are able to manifest, but there's no way for us to manifest more time in this reality. So I do thank you for that. I appreciate you sharing your story with me and the hundreds of millions of people who are going to see this one day. So thank you for that.
Right.
I want to wish you much success in everything that you're doing. I want to wish you continued growth. Continue to work on you, work on the things that you want, and continue to manifest those things, because you have everything that you need to do that. It is all within you already, and in the little bit of time that I have known you, I've seen growth already, and I see greatness in you. So I want you to continue to do, what you do. Continue to share your passion because that's where true happiness is. I'm a firm believer in that. So thank you for that.
I appreciate it so much, and
Um,
I hope the same for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So this time I made sure that I updated our list because we as a whole, as a unit, we have quite a bit of content and things going on. So um for everybody who stuck around, thank you. I appreciate that. I just want to share with everybody how you could tap in with the group, the team of all of us doing these things. We're doing them with the hope that we share a message one day that helps someone or set someone on a trajectory that will continue to benefit them in some way, shape, or form. So I just gonna go down the list real quick, starting on Monday, Mystic Mondays with Awakening Faith at 1:11 p.m. This is all in Eastern Standard, so I'm gonna say that once, make this fast. Makeup Mondays with Janine at 2 p.m. following right after the Mystic Mondays. We have Music Game Night with DJ Big Lou at 2G 8 p.m. And then that's Monday. So Tuesday we have our series here, Tim's Tuesday, with Zeus the God, 7 p.m. Wednesday, starting March 1st, Mom and Ain't Easy with Queen of Bad Moms, Courtney. Shout out to Courtney. We are sending you prayers and wishing you a speedy recovery. Um, Witch Out Wednesdays is with Awakening Faith at 11:30 p.m. If you haven't tuned into that, you should definitely tune into that tomorrow, 11:30 p.m. Starting this Thursday, this is something new. Drum roll, please. I mentioned it last week, but starting this Thursday, me and my booski, me and my baby, me and my little mama, we are starting our Taboo Thursdays where we're going to be talking about relationship stuff. We're going to be talking about the struggles of being single, the ups, downs, everything that you deal with in relationships. We're going to bring on guests. We're going to, vibe out and all of that. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and just things that are taboo that aren't typically discussed. So
Whoop, whoop.
we invite you guys to join us for that. We might do a little sneak peek of that if Journey is cooperates with us tonight. We might jump back on later on, and we made sure that the vibe was right in here, so we could possibly do that. So hopefully Journey cooperates. So that's Thursday. Friday we have Flawless Fridays with Janine at 7 p.m. and then Club The Spot with DJ Big Lou 2G at 11 p.m. Saturdays
Wait,
is
wait.
a
Wait, sorry.
oh
Thursday
did I miss
is
something
Club the
Thursday?
Spot.
Bro, did I put it on Friday? What am I doing here, bro? Club The Spot Friday,
No.
11
Club
p.m.
the Spot is Thursday.
Why did I said Friday again? And I'm
Yeah.
literally looking at it now. Thursday. Look, it's hard with the lighting in here. You can see that this paper's not that bright. The Club The Spot, Thursday, 11 p.m.
Yes.
DJ Big Lou, 2G. Jesus Christ. Saturdays are day off. No content that I know of except like, freestyle sort of lives.
Friday after Flawless Friday is Rachel After Dark. Remember?
Bro, what is going on? You know what? Whoever wrote this is fired. Rachel After
All
Dark
right,
on
right.
Friday.
I got you guys. I got you
I
guys.
feel
Here
I
we
feel
go.
like I'm Rachel right now. Like the whole scheduling thing.
What
Go ahead.
time was
Take
it
it.
again? Right.
Take it away.
I got you guys. If you're not gonna catch Serena on Monday, you can catch her on Wednesday. But Monday at 1:11 she goes on Mystic Mondays. Then I go on at 2:00 Makeup Mondays. Tuesdays, if you're not
she's going
catching Tim's, you better catch it right now.
Let's
Right,
go.
it's happening right now, guys.
Right now, live and
Right?
direct. In your
I'm only
face.
posting on Mondays. Don't forget about Lou's game night. All right. After Tuesday, you got Wednesday. Courtney's thing is coming up soon, so
March 1st.
stay tuned for
2
that.
weeks.
And then you got Witch Talk Wednesday with Serena. Thursday is Zeus again.
Me and
with his
little mama. Yeah,
there
we
he
back.
goes. Bow, bow. I wanted to hear it. The laugh. There we go.
Turn it up a little bit.
Guys, don't forget Club The Spot on Thursday night. And then Friday, you get to get ready with me and get to go out with Rachel After Dark.
Flawless.
Yeah. And then, don't forget me and Crystal spiraling Saturday lives. Okay, yeah, all right.
Spiraling. We love it. We love the spirals. All right, guys. Well, this is
Wait,
the end of the
hold up
episode.
before you end
What happened?
it.
What I missed? What I
Serena
missed?
goes, "You're fired."
Oh, you're fired. I got fired from my own show on my day off. It happens. That's how it happens around here. You might get fired from your own series. So
Right.
thank you guys for rocking out with us. I truly appreciate it. I hope that this thing continues to grow, and I appreciate everybody who sent gifts while we were in here to me and to Janine as well. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. The gifts are never needed, but they're always appreciated. So thank you guys so much. And on that note, peace.